Welcome to the Passion for Pencils podcast. In this podcast, we talk about art supplies, pencils, paints, papers, coloring books, inspiration, and much more. This podcast is also an invitation to grab your pencils and paints right now and do some joyful coloring or painting while listening. In this episode, we will talk about Derwent, the Lake District in England, my watercolor kit, new pigment liners, and more. What's on my desk right now? Well, there are a couple of things that I'm working on, but on my desk right now, as I'm sitting here and looking around me, there are Derwent Inktense pencils, there are Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils, there is a Caran d'Ache Palette Aquarelle, a very fancy name, for a palette, plastic palette with a rough side, and that turns out to be a game changer when you do watercolor pencils. There's also a reference photo of a pansy, the photo I took myself a couple of months ago, and there is the painting, the work in progress here on my desk as well. And I've been working on it for about a week now, I think. I never work very long. It's most of the time it's half an hour, and then I do something else, and then I come back the next day. So I do my painting in short sessions, so to say. Yes, that's it, I think. So that's on my desk, and there's something else on my desk. That thing is a little bit worrying. You wouldn't expect it. It is my watercolor kit. And my watercolor kit, I changed the color palette because I've been using it for a couple of years now, and the colors that are in there, I felt they are not strong enough when you do plein air painting. And plein air painting is about going out in nature, sitting down or standing somewhere, picking up your brushes and your watercolor paints and a piece of paper and just sketch and paint what you see in front of you. I love doing that, but it's always, there's a pressure of limited time, and I always felt that the colors that I had in my palette needed to be a little bit stronger, so I would be able to move quicker and have more color on my paper while doing that plein air painting. I started out with a lot of Sennelier paints, and they are famous for their layering. They become more and more beautiful when you layer them, and that is a thing that you do not do. At least I don't do a lot of layering when being out in nature, because there's just not the time to do that. So I took all the colors out. There were about 30, I think. I have quite a big plein air kit, a lot of colors. I took them all out, and I did a lot of swatching and swatching, trying, and I came up with a new combination of colors, combination of different watercolor brands. Still a couple of Sennelier paints in it, but also Schminke, Winsor & Newton, Daniel Smith, Van Gogh, and there's a Rembrandt color in it. And yesterday was the first time that I had the opportunity of going to the forest and give it a try. Well, I'm not sure if it's just getting used to the new color palette or that something else is going on because it didn't work out. And the next couple of weeks I'll want to do a lot more testing if the weather allows me to. I have to say we have an old-fashioned Dutch summer. This is a summer this year that I remember from childhood, that you were glad if the temperatures were up and the sun was shining. And we have a rainy day today. It is cool. It's not warm enough for my taste. It's windy, it's rainy. Luckily, yesterday we had a better day, so that is why I took the opportunity to go to the forest and give it a try with those paints. Yes, I need to do some testing. Because maybe it's just a lack of experience. You know, I'm really a beginner when it comes to watercolor painting. And so I need to do the testing and try the new palette, because when I see the colors next to each other on my paper, I made a little color chart. It looks just gorgeous. So I don't understand why it didn't work out yesterday. But I will find out. It's one of the things that I'm working on. Together with that pansy. The pansy painting is going very well. Yes, I really enjoy it. I wanted to try the Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils a little bit more. I bought a couple of them a couple of months ago when I was in Germany, close to Nuremberg, where the Faber-Castell factory is situated. So I went to the official Faber-Castell factory shop and bought those beautiful watercolor pencils. And they are a charm. I love them. So now because I have only a limited selection, I am now using them together with Derwent Inktense, and they go great together. No problem at all. So that's really nice. And well, I hope this painting will be finished soon so I can start making videos about it. I'm recording everything. Those Derwent Inktense pencils, they come from one of the most interesting art material brands that I know, Derwent. And I did a little bit of research about the factory. It's quite interesting. It started out in 1832. There was this first factory in Keswick, and that is situated in one of the most beautiful areas in the UK. It is in the Lake District, also known as part of Cumbria, on the west coast of England. And the old factory started out in 1832 with the production of graphite pencils, if I'm well informed, because it all started with a graphite mine over there. At a certain point they found out that there was graphite to be mined, to be found there in the ground. So they started mining and they started making pencils. In 1912, they built a bigger factory also in Keswick, and that building is still standing, and it is now a museum, a pencil museum. And then a couple of years ago, 2008, the factory moved to a new building in Workington, couple of miles to the west. They are making more and more beautiful art materials. I looked at a couple of move videos and I researched a little bit and I found out a couple of interesting things that I had never thought about. Colored pencils are either wax-based or oil-based, but what actually does that mean? I saw in one of the videos about the Derwent factory that the actual binder for the colors is not wax or oil, but it is some sort of a clay. They call it clay. The pencil cores actually do go in an oven to strengthen and harden, and then after that they go into a wax bath. So, and then they let it soak in that wax bath, and then the wax is being added. So that's what was happening. So the clay is one of the main ingredients. And well, I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure if you find it interesting, but I find it interesting. The quality control at Derwent is quite strong. They have over 1,000 standard pencils in their lab, and some of those standard pencils are dating back from 1937. And a standard pencil means it's the type of pencil of a best quality, and all the pencils that are made need to have the same quality as that one pencil in the lab. Let's say, I can't pronounce the big word, the lab. Derwent has not only pencils, but they have so much more. They have paints and blocks and pens and papers and lots of accessories like erasers, pencil sharpeners, you name it, they have it. I did a little bit of research and I came up with, and I have to see, at least 22 different pencil types. That is graphite pencils, colored pencils, water-soluble pencils, pastel pencils. At least 22, because I did not take into consideration they have a special line for children, I think. Let me think, can I remember the name? Derwent Academy? I'll have to look that up for you. I'm going to look it up right now. I have my phone here. Let's see, the Derwent website. Yeah, it's Derwent Academy, and I think it's meant for children. I think. I'm not sure about that. But I did not take those pencils into consideration, so there are 22 pencil types at least, and then the Derwent Academy line comes with that. So that is a lot of pencils, and now they also started doing watercolor paint and Derwent paints, so it's very interesting what Derwent is doing. They also, if you go to their website, to the shop, you can see that they have National Trust sets, and that's something that I really like. I love nature, that's where my inspiration comes from. Derwent decided to cooperate with National Trust, and that is an organization in the UK that takes care of the environment, of the beautiful parts of the UK nature-wise. And these National Trust sets, they're really nice. They have pencils, they have watercolor sets. And Derwent donates 10% of each product sold to National Trust's Riverlands, and that is a special project that takes care of the rivers, especially in the Lake District, I believe. So yeah, that's really nice. And something else that I found out about Derwent in their shop is that you can build your own tin. You know, a tin that's the packaging for a set of pencils. You can make your own choices on which pencils you want to have in your tin. So you can choose maximum of 24 pencils, I believe, a tin of 24 pencils. And then you can just grab the colors that you want, the pencil types that you want, so you can combine different pencil types also. It's really nice. And a third that I am that I liked a lot is there is a World War II secret map souvenir pencil with a map and a compass. And I thought, what the heck is that? This comes with a great story. Back in the Second World War, the Air Force needed to get the pilots of the planes that were going to fly over Europe. They needed them to give them a compass and a map. So whenever they would end up somewhere on the ground and needed to find safety, they needed a map and a compass to do so. But they wanted to hide it. It should be secret. So they went to Derwent and they told them, you must make a pencil in which we can hide both a compass and a map. And Derwent did. I loved that story. So in the Second World War, all those guys who went in the planes and went up, those guys all had a Derwent pencil with a secret map and a compass. Really, really nice. And you can buy one. It's in their shop now. The Derwent factory has its roots and still is in the Lake Districts in Cumbria, England. And my husband and I had the opportunity of traveling there a couple of years ago. And it was absolutely beautiful with all the lakes and the mountains. The area has 16 lakes. The landscape was formed during the Ice Age. And it is very popular among tourists, as my husband and I have experienced. We were there early August. I cannot recommend you going there in the high season because, we had traffic jams, traffic jams along those beautiful lakes. It was very, very busy. Anyway, we were in Windermere, a village on the shores of Lake Windermere, and the area is beautiful for walking, climbing. You can do boat tours. We did one too, wonderful. And there's a lot to things you can see. And of course, there is nature, but you can also find the slate mines and the graphite mines. The slate mines, you can still see that the housing there is really built from the material that you can find there, slate. There are also a couple of artists who lived in the area, and one of the most famous is the poet William Wordsworth. There was Beatrix Potter, you know her, I guess, from her books, Peter Rabbit, and she has a connection to the National Trust also because she made quite a lot of money from her selling her Peter Rabbit books, and she was very much interested in saving the natural beauty in the Lake District. Her famous house where she lived, Hilltop House, is a museum nowadays. You can visit it. It is part of the National Trust now, so National Trust is taking care of her legacy. She was a Victorian artist and writer and, very famous, I think. The wildlife that Beatrix Potter wrote and painted about is It's everywhere. When we were there one morning, I went out for a morning walk, and it was so quiet in that street. And I walked along the street. There were these small meadows, and suddenly there was this beautiful, beautiful roe deer, just eating, being very calm. And another day we came home from a trip, and this beautiful barn owl was flying in front of our car as it wanted to show us the way where we should go. It was so wonderful. Beautiful barn owl. It has been out for a while, but I still haven't been able to buy it. They have 28 extra colors in their Derwent pencil series. That makes the complete set now not 72 but 100 pencils. Last time I checked a couple of weeks ago, these pencils, these new 28 colors, are not available in the Netherlands yet. So I'll have to wait a little longer. And I did a little bit of research. Do I really need those 28 extra pencils? Well, I want them, but do I need them? Well, they did something about these extra colors that you may not have noticed. If I have been looking well, then the light fastness of these new pencils are better than the light fastness of the comparable colors that are already in the set. And that makes those 28 extra colors very appealing to me, because I love Derwent Inktense pencils so much that I really want to eventually make professional artwork with them, and then the light fastness really needs to be good. So these 28 new colors, I think, are a huge step in the right direction when it comes to the light fastness. And there are a couple of colors actually that I did miss in the original set of 72. And one of them is a light blue, and now there is a really light blue in the new set. So as soon as they are available here in the Netherlands, I will for sure start buying them. There's another brand that I use, not pencils, but pens that have something that is quite interesting, I think, also. And that is the German brand Staedtler. I use Staedtler pigment liners. They come with a different thickness of the tip, and I've been using them for years. It started out in my architectural work with drawings of buildings, houses, stuff like that. And eventually I started using them, making my own drawings and paintings, and I actually have them in my watercolor kit as well, for quick sketching and then adding paint. So it's like a line and wash painting. I can do that because they are water resistant. There's no smudging as I start splashing with paint. Now, Staedtler pigment liners have been upgraded with a line of color. They were only black pens, but now they have colored pens, and I'm very interested in those because a colored pen might blend into a painting or a drawing much better than a harsh black line. So I'm really looking forward to trying these. There's a vacation coming up. My husband and I have decided to go to Scandinavia. For the first time, we are going to Norway, and that is said to be one of the most beautiful countries when it comes to nature on the planet. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing landscapes there with the beautiful rocks and everything. The waterfalls, lots and lots of waterfalls. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm now I'm in the process of figuring out which art materials I want to take with me. And normally I let the destination help me decide what art materials I take with me. When we would go to, let's say, Germany, I would take a German brand paint and pencils with me. Now we are going to Norway, and I'm not aware of any Norwegian pencil brands, so I have to make the decision completely on my own. And it's always a little bit stressful because I have so many pencils that I like, I have so many coloring books that I like, I have so many paints that I like. It's always a little bit stressful, and this time again it's a little bit stressful. But I think I made a decision. I think the Derwent Procolours will go with me this time, because those pencils have a wonderful color range, and I need a little bit of extra time with those pencils. Every time that I use them, I hit a wall. So it feels like I need to get to know them and change my way of coloring to do them justice. And I think going to Norway is a wonderful opportunity to take them with me and just give them a try again, because I'm certain they are wonderful. I need to figure them out. So I'm going to do that. Then that watercolor kit is coming with me, if the right paints are in there now or not. And I think I will take some other watercolor sets with me as well. So if I can't get used to the new color combinations, I can switch these little half pans and get back to my old nature. So that's what is ahead for me. I wish you happy coloring, happy painting, and a next episode will come for sure. So in the meantime, happy coloring, happy painting, and until the next episode. Bye bye.